Their groves of sweet myrtles by Robert Burns. He wrote this to an Irish melody called The Humours of Glen, or The Humours of Glen. It has a couple of his signature image matches in it. A burn is a brook, so be the burn stealing under the long yellow broom. The melody's winding low, as is the brook. Gold, gold, gold bubbling fountains. Gold bubbling fountains. Here we go. I have a lot to say about the song, which I'll say afterwards. Their groves of sweet myrtles let foreign lands reckon, their bright beaming summers exalt the perfume. Far dearer to me on lone glen o' green breckan, with the burn stealing under the long yellow broom. Far dearer to me are these humble broom bowers, where the bluebell and the gowan lurk lowly unseen, for they're lightly tripping among the wildflowers, a-listening the linnet oft wanders matching, a-listening the linnet oft wanders matching. Though rich is the breeze in their gay sunny valleys, and cold Caledonia's blast on the wave, their sweet scented woodlands that skirt the proud palace, what are they? The haunt of the tyrant and slave. The slave's spicy forests and cold bubbling fountains, the brave Caledonian views we disdain. He wanders as free as the winds of his mountains, save love's willing fetters, the chains o' his chin. Save love's willing fetters, the chains o' his chin. So, this is a late life reflection. The song's written in 1795, but 9 years before that. I'd say late life. Burns only lived to be 37, tragically. Okay, let me start at the beginning. If you've heard this song, you would have heard it as There Grows a Sweet Myrtle. I sing myrtles. I'm using a different manuscript from the Huntington Library manuscript. This, the commonly published one is from the one he sent to his second publisher, George Thompson, in 1795. I tend to prefer his earlier drafts. This one even subtly, he says, yon lone glen of green breckan, and then he says, far dearer to me are yon humble broom bowers, in the commonly published one. And this one he says, these humble broom bowers, and it feels closer. It feels like it's drawing more of a contrast between near and far. And far in this case is Jamaica, where he had actually booked passage. He was in some trouble. He was in some legal trouble. Young Burns, like a A number of West Country lads who knocked up women out of wedlock, were read out in church, and his friend James Smith ended up in Jamaica. Burns had actually planned to emigrate and published his book to raise funds for his trip, and his book was such a hit that he was able to stay in Scotland. He managed to miss the boat 3 times, I think. He did not want to go. He had a job as a bookkeeper on Charles Douglas Plantation. He had no illusions about what that euphemism meant. He wrote in a letter to Dr. John Moore that he would have been a poor Negro driver. So the song is a reflection on choices made. We can't be sure who the Jean is. He married Jean Armour, he was in trouble with her parents, but after he became a success, their hearts lightened toward him. Right. And but he was using Jean Lorimer as a late model muse at this period of his life. Anyway, he borrowed a phrase from John Milton. Him through the spicy forest onward come. That's from Paradise Lost. So Burns wrote to his second publisher in April 1795. The Irish air, Humours of Glen, is a great favourite of mine, and as except for the silly verses in The Poor Soldier, there are not any decent verses for it, I have written for it as follows. A tradition in Ireland assigns the composition to one of the family of Power about the middle of the 18th century. They lived near Clonmel. Glyn or Glen is a small country or village midway between Carrick and Clonmel. So let's see. Okay, so it was The Poor Soldier was what was called a ballad opera. They used folk tunes, and so it was an English composer named William Shield who orchestrated these traditional Irish melodies, and there was a lyricist named John O'Keefe who wrote for them, and O'Keefe wrote the lyric to the Humours of Glen in that opera, and he used the phrase "their groves of fine myrtle." So Burns slips in a nod to a fellow lyricist there. Burns I don't know how he got the score to this ballad opera. It was put on in Covent Garden in 1783 in London. He got his hands on any books of tunes he could, Burns. And he also wrote to tunes from that opera the song Hey for a Lass We a Tochar and Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad. Both used in that opera, and there's great settings of those melodies in there. So I've taken the liberty of repeating the last line to fill out the melody. When Burns wrote, he liked his sort of more high-class lyrics, and he would send these to newspapers. Wilt Thou Be My Dearie is another one. He sent this to be published in the London Star in 1795. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, comment, whatever.